Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been an extremely long time since you all have last seen or heard from me. I've just been all over the place with life, and I just have not had the opportunity to sit down and make any videos, but I'm coming to you today with, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a highly favored video. I am doing a follow-up video of my original Vitex Success Story, how I got pregnant after being diagnosed with PCOS and being told that I was not going to be able to have children. I recorded that video and posted it probably a little over a year ago, and I still get comments daily from people asking so many questions about my Vitex journey and wanting a little bit more detail than what I provided in my video. And I just want to say, for those of you who have commented just congratulating me on the fact that I have now 2 healthy boys, I want to say thank you very much. I am 110% blessed. They have changed my life completely. I absolutely adore motherhood. I, of course, love my sons unconditionally. And I do hope that the same way Vitex has worked for me, it can help other women. I do want to also acknowledge those of you who have commented and let me know that you have tried Vitex and you are either got pregnant and have now had your baby, or you are currently pregnant. Congratulations. I'm so happy that you also can now share in my success with using Vitex after being diagnosed with PCOS or after having any type of fertility issues. But the last video I made was pretty lengthy. I thought I had given so much information and had answered like all the questions that people could have, but obviously I did not. I did at some point, maybe like 6 months after the video, try to update the comment section, answering like frequently asked questions, but still, like I said, to this day, almost a year and a half later, I'm still daily getting questions and comments. And again, thank you so much for all the views and all the comments and all the praise and congratulatory comments that were left. I, again, am so happy that God blessed me with these 2 beautiful children, and I do hope that my story and my journey can help other women who were in my same situation. So let me go ahead and just get started so that this is not another, hour-long video like my last was. I have made notation of a lot of the questions. I, of course, am probably not going to be able to answer every single question that has been asked. I tried to go through as many of the comments as I can, but there were like over 300 comments, and there was just no way I was going to be able to go through all of them. But I did try to pinpoint the ones that I saw that were being asked more frequently because I figured those were the most popular ones. So the first question that I was often asked is, what brand of Vitex did I use? I unfortunately no longer have a bottle to show you. In the original video, which I will have linked to this video, I did show the bottle, and if I can find a photo of it, I'll try to insert a picture. But it was, I think it's pronounced Gaia. It's G-A-I-A. I'll spell it down here. But that's the brand that I purchased. And then I'm also, it's actually like a green, it looks like a green, maybe like an emerald green bottle with a white label around it. And then, it might have had a white top, I can't remember, I'm going to tell you that. But I do know it was like an emerald green bottle with a white label around it, and it was, I think it's pronounced Gaia. I'm absolutely not sure. I could totally be butchering that, but it's G-A-I-A. And I purchased mine from my local vitamin shop, but another question that I'm frequently asked is, where can you buy Vitex? And you can buy it from your local vitamin shop or a health store. You can get it off of Amazon. I know a lot of people have said that they purchased it off of Amazon. I would just, if you are going to do that, probably just make sure that you're purchasing it from like one of those verified sellers. You can usually check that before you check out with any Amazon purchase. But again, any local health store that you have will have some form of Vitex. It may not be the exact brand that I purchased. Okay, question number 2. How many pills did you take? I took 2 pills a day. Follow whatever brand you purchase, whatever bottle you purchase. Please make sure you read the instructions on the back. It will tell you exactly how many pills to take. I have noticed just from seeing other brands of Vitex now that depending on the milligrams of the pills that are provided, each brand may give you different instructions on how many to take and how often to take. My bottle was 500 milligrams, I believe, and it told me to take 2 a day. So I just took both of mine in the morning right after breakfast just to get it over with, just because my memory has always been kind of So if I didn't take it as soon as I woke up, while it was on my mind, I would forget to take the second one. So I just took both of them at the same time. There was nothing on there that said you couldn't take them together and that you had to take like one in the morning, one in the evening. So that's why I chose to do it that way. I did take them after breakfast only because in general, I don't like to take any type of pill until I have something on my stomach. All right. The third question was, what else did you take while on Vitex? I did not take any other medication while on Vitex. I have received, in addition to that question, lots of questions asking if you're on metformin, can you take it? And if you're on any other type of hormonal drugs or fertility drugs, are you able to take Vitex in conjunction with that? I do not know. Please, please, please consult with your PCP or your OBGYN and ask them. I have no idea. I am not a medical professional at all. When the story that I share with you is just my personal experience, I am in no way, shape, or form qualified to give anyone any medical expertise or advice or to tell you what different medicines you can or herbs you can mix together, because I have no idea. So for myself, I only took Vitex. That was the only herb or type of medicine I was taking. I did take a daily vitamin, and I think it was just maybe women's, was that one a day? The women's one a day vitamin. I was just taking, which I had always taken, but I did not take any other type of medication in conjunction with the Vitex. So if you are already on a fertility drug or on any other type of medication, please, please, please consult with your doctor and make sure that it's okay for you to take both at the same time. All right, the next question is, what was your diet while on Vitex? So because I have PCOS, I know a lot of people question because I have a very slim frame, and one of the symptoms, for those who don't know, who are watching this video for other fertility issues that aren't PCOS related, one of the symptoms of PCOS is overweight. You can become overweight. And of course, obviously that's just not a symptom that I have. There's no rule book that says you're gonna have all the symptoms. Obviously don't have all of them. I do have other symptoms that people who maybe are overweight don't have, but overweightness was not one of my symptoms. So I did not have to change my diet in any way once I started taking the Vitex or in order to get pregnant. Like I said, I've always had a pretty small frame. If anything, I was probably underweight when I started taking the Vitex, just because I have a very fast metabolism. I am one of those people that eats what she wants. So that's not a recommendation to do the same thing, because even though I am slim, that's probably not the healthiest way to eat either. I probably should still pay more attention to how much nutrients I'm getting from individual food groups, but I don't. I just eat what I want, and when I was taking the Vitex, I continued to do that. I ate what I wanted, when I wanted, and I didn't care. Let's see, how long did you take Vitex? So I took Vitex up until I was 12 weeks pregnant. So again, as I mentioned in my original video, I actually started taking Vitex to help regulate my cycles because of the PCOS. I had, from the moment I received my period, I had irregular menstrual cycles with extremely excruciating cramps. So I had reached my wit's end with it, and I couldn't take it anymore, and I was looking for solutions to help with that issue. And it just so happened that also with fixing the irregular cycle issue and the excruciating cramps issue, it also fixed my fertility issue, and I got pregnant. I was not planning to get pregnant, so my oldest son Mason, actually both my children were, was a surprise, but Kayla was a surprise too. Neither children were planned children, though blessings still. They were not planned. The whole purpose of me taking the Vitex was to regulate my cycles, because again, I never thought that I was going to get pregnant, because I had a doctor tell me that I couldn't get pregnant. But once I did get pregnant, I wanted to wean myself off the Vitex. I didn't want to start cold turkey. And on my bottle and the brand that I purchased, it did say not to take while pregnant or breastfeeding. But again, because I assumed that it was the Vitex that got me pregnant, I didn't want to just stop and risk possibly miscarrying. So I continued the Vitex until I was 12 weeks pregnant I found out I was pregnant with Mason at 5 weeks. So between 5 weeks and 12 weeks, just 7-week span, I slowly weaned myself off, so that by the time I reached 12 weeks, I was completely off of the Vitex. But overall, from the time I started it to the time I ended it, I started taking Vitex in August, and I started taking it in August of 2015, and I was completely off of it by March of 2016. Okay, did you take it while menstruating? Yes. Once I ordered my bottle of Vitex from my health store and received it, I started taking the pill the day I got it, and I did not stop taking it until, like I said, I reached 12 weeks of pregnancy. I took it every single day, whether I was menstruating or not menstruating. Once I started, I didn't stop taking my 2 pills until I started to wean myself off, and then I was completely done by 12 weeks. I know I have received questions where people are saying they heard that you're not supposed to take it while you're menstruating. I never heard that. It did not say that on the back of my bottle, which is why I did continue to take it. But again, you can always check with your doctor or your local herbalist, and also just read the instructions on the back of your bottle and see what it says, and then use your best judgment. Okay, when did you stop taking Vitex? Again, I stopped taking it when I was 12 weeks pregnant. I started it in August of 2015, and I was completely done with Vitex in March of 2016. Someone asked, did you spot while on Vitex? No. So once I started taking it, I quickly saw a change in my cycles and saw a more regular cycle, where before I could go months in between periods. I noticed my cycle started to come every 29 days, and it was always a very normal and healthy flow. Never any spotting and never over bleeding either. Okay, it says, this may be TMI, but did you have a certain amount of sex while on Vitex, or did you just regularly have sex? Don't really know how to answer that, because I think how regular you have sex is one of those situational things. It's like everyone's definition of regular may be different. So some people may think it's regular to have sex every day, and some people may think it's regular to have sex, once a week. I will say that we did not change the frequency that we were having sex once I started taking Vitex, because again, I wasn't taking it to get pregnant, because I had already convinced myself that I wasn't able to get pregnant. I was only taking it to regulate my cycles. So for us, we typically had sex multiple times a week, maybe 8 or 9 times a week. So that didn't change once I started Vitex. So that could also have helped, because the more frequent you do have sex, then the more chances you're likely to catch that period when you're ovulating. But again, I wasn't monitoring because I wasn't trying to get pregnant. Okay, and then I was also asked, can I use Vitex if my periods are regular but I just want to get pregnant? I'm sure you can, but again, you should probably consult with an herbalist or your doctor, and they could answer more specifically for you. I don't think Vitex, again, I started taking Vitex because when researching how to regulate my cycle, this was something that I found. But I do know women who do have regular periods, and they have said that they were just researching ways to conceive, because though they were having regular cycles and appeared to be ovulating regularly, they were not, obviously they were not getting pregnant. So when researching natural ways to help yourself conceive, I know Vitex does come up. So I'm sure that even if you don't have irregular periods, Vitex could help. It could be something else going on that it may assist you with. Okay, then it says, did it make you sick when you were pregnant? So again, I only took it for the first 12 weeks of my pregnancy, and no, it did not make me sick. I did have extreme morning sickness with Mason, who is my oldest son, and I say morning in quotes because morning sickness is not what you think it is. When people say morning sickness before I got pregnant, I always thought that meant that you were only sick in the morning, and that is not the case. It's just a nice way it's just a cute name for it. You're sick all the time. And there's actually a medical term for women who suffer from this, and I can't remember what it is right now, but I was diagnosed with that, and which meant that for probably the first 6 months of my pregnancy, I was constantly throwing up. But that was because of the condition that I just had with my pregnancy. It wasn't due to the Vitex, especially because I had stopped taking the Vitex by 12 weeks anyway. So no, it did not make me sick. I will say this though, it does have, for me, it had like a syrupy taste, which I really didn't care for, but you do what you gotta do. Let's see. The next question was, where can I purchase? Again, I purchase it from my local health store. You can purchase it from there, and you can also purchase it online. I do know that Amazon does sell it. What cycle day did you start taking it? I do not know, because I was not monitoring what day of my cycle I was on to start on a specific day. The day I received my bottle, I started taking it immediately. Did you suffer from BV yeast infections, or did you douche? Or were you regularly inserting things into your vagina? No, I don't really know what that has to do with what kind of answer they're trying to, or what they're trying to determine by my answer. But no, I don't believe in douching. I never have. I just don't think that it's natural to do that. And no, I didn't suffer from yeast infections or bacterial vaginosis. I had a healthy vagina prior to taking Vitex, other than the fact that my ovaries were, not functioning properly, and I wasn't ovulating. But other than that, the actual vaginal region itself was fine. One of the most common questions that I have received is, would you take Vitex again? And I will say this now, my oldest son, who is the son that I initially conceived while on Vitex, is Mason, and he is 3, soon to be 4 this upcoming July. And then my youngest son, Caleb, is 2, soon to be 3 come August. Now again, I believe I mentioned this in my original Vitex video. I definitely contribute my pregnancy with Mason to Vitex. And then after that, I conceived Caleb only 3 months after, or was it 4 months? I think it was 3.5. 3.5 months after having Mason. So Mason was only 3.5 months old when Jared and I got pregnant with Caleb. And though I never started taking Vitex again after having Mason, my doctor did say it's more likely for you to get pregnant again right after you have a baby, which is part of the reason why they do tell you not to have sex within that first 6 weeks. It's not just because everything's trying to go back to normal, because some people, recover quicker than 6 weeks. With Mason, I definitely did. By 4 weeks, I was fully healed, and we were able to be intimate again. But that is one of the reasons why they tell people not to be intimate, because oftentimes women will come back at their 6-week checkup and be pregnant again. And it's not great physically on the body or mentally. I will say this, having another child so closely after my first definitely has been very challenging and exhausting. And when I say challenging, I mean just health-wise, mentally, physically. It's like your body never had a chance, or my body never had a chance to recover from Mason before it was gearing up to be strong enough to take care of Caleb. But obviously I was able to conceive Caleb without being on the Vitex. But since then, I will say I have now been off of Vitex I took it in 2015. So yes, for almost 4 years. Wait, is that right? Yes, no, it's been 4 years. So yes, I've been off of Vitex for 4 years. And I can say this now that Caleb is almost 3, it's been 3 years since my last pregnancy. I have noticed that my periods or my cycle is not as regular as it was while on the Vitex. It has not gone back to completely being irregular where I'm going months in between, but I did nurse with Caleb. I nursed with both babies, but since Caleb was the last baby, after nursing Caleb, it does usually take a while for your cycle to kind of get back to normal when you're breastfeeding. So about a year after I stopped breastfeeding Caleb, my period was coming every month, but more recently now that it's becoming a longer time span since being pregnant and being on the Vitex. Like this year already, I skipped a month of menstruating, which had me nervous. I was like, oh my God, am I pregnant again? But I absolutely wasn't. It's just I can now see things are kind of going back to being a little irregular. I'll have spotting when I should be possibly, having a period, but I won't have the period. I'll just have a spotting for a few days and this or that. And it's not to the point now where it's such an inconvenience where I want to regulate it again and get back on the Vitex. But if it did ever get to that point, I wouldn't be opposed to taking Vitex again. I will say right now, I'm okay. because like I said, it's only skipped 1 month and I've had it come since that skip, and it's not unbearable like it was before. Like my cramps aren't too bad. They're still pretty okay, and I contribute that actually to the new brand of sanitary products that I use. I do use Honey Pot. I think I talked about that in my last favorites video, and I am a huge advocate of the Honey Pot brand. I definitely think it has helped with how long I bleed, and also with the pain level of my cramps, with it being natural sanitary products. But like I was saying, the irregularity that I have now started to experience again hasn't been enough of an inconvenience for me to decide to get back on the Vitex. Also because right now, as I've mentioned, having 2 children so close together, with both of them being at the height of the toddler stage, I have my hands full. I'm completely exhausted. So I'm not looking right now to have another baby. So because I do know the Vitex, in addition to regulating my cycle, did contribute to me getting pregnant, I don't want to take the risk of it doing it again right now. Long answer short, yes, I would absolutely 100% take Vitex again. Will I be taking it anytime soon? No. Not unless my period starts to go wonkers again and, you know, I can't take it anymore. But again, I did not want to make this a very long video. I know my videos are known to be lengthy, and I know my last Vitex video was extremely long. I just wanted to hop on here and answer a few questions that I do know have been asked regularly, and I didn't want people to start thinking that I was ignoring them, because after a while it was hard to respond to everybody. I was trying in the beginning to respond to every question, but it does become so difficult. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope I answered most of the questions that you all still had. I wish everyone much success on their pregnancy journey, their Vitex journey, their trying to conceive journey. If you do conceive, your motherhood or parenthood journey. I want to say again, thank you so much for all the support on my channel, for all the views that I've received on this video, all the comments, all the congratulatory comments, and congratulations to everyone who has had success with taking Vitex. And if you do have any further questions, of course, no matter what, feel free to comment them below, or you can send me a message if you prefer it to be private, and I will try to answer them the best of my ability. Thanks for watching.